Everybody, come with me on a solo trip to Mexico, mostly Tulum and Playa del Carmen, where I will spend 8 days. First things first, cost breakdown. For my round trip, it was $508.11. Port parking at San Diego International Airport to leave my car for 8 days, $224 flat. I did take out $300 to eat for souvenirs, taxis, and the auto bus, which is this bus. So first day, I did check into Fairfield because I was going to arrive to Tulum late at night, which I had a feeling was not a good idea. So I decided to stay for a night here. I did end up getting this hotel for the last night as well, just because they do take you to the airport. So I wouldn't have to worry about that and getting a taxi. All in all, this room was really nice. They give 2 complimentary waters with some coffee that I will probably take home. They have a microwave, a safe where you could put your passport, and a fridge, a mini fridge. They also have a little closet, as you can tell here. This room for those 2 nights was about $268.11, but worth it. They have a pool and a jacuzzi with some room service. The only problem is they're a little far from the strip, but I didn't care. So first day in Tulum, this is my Airbnb where I will be spending 2 days here. I'll go ahead and show you guys the whole room. Everything was good. Water heated up, AC worked, check-in was easy. I will apply the link on my page. I will apply the link here so you guys could check this out. It was super cute and I felt safe. It was in a little condominium that you check in with a security, and they had a hammock, a small little kitchen, a fridge, and a jacuzzi. This cost me $176.58. Honestly, isn't a bad deal for 2 days. In Tulum, I rode bikes and ate some food, but the second day I actually got an excursion from Airbnb, and it comes with pickup and also drop off, and they take you to this beautiful Loom Lagoon as well as 2 other beautiful cenotes. And this itself costs $163.07. Fun fact before we move on, this lagoon is actually a cenote, which I didn't know that, which in the middle, if you go look it up, there's this huge sinkhole. The craziest part that I got to experience from this particular lagoon is that if you walk to a certain area, it feels like quicksand. And they told me it's because it has clay. And also, another crazy thing is that they use this clay for the skin, like an exfoliator, or even on wounds to heal. So this place is like a place where you come to detox naturally. The mud is mineral rich, so it does make your skin really soft when you apply it and then wash it off, which I thought was cool. Now, I do want to share, although I'm not sharing a picture, there's a tree called the chichen tree. It actually bleeds a black sap and can burn your skin. It is poisonous, but right beside it, the coolest thing, there's another tree, which they call the orange tree. And this tree has the cure for the black sap tree, called the chaca tree. And the Mayan used it in their medicines. The poison and the cure grow together, which is insane to me and beautiful in a way. And here's the view from the top for the lagoon, and you see the cenote in the middle. Cool thing before we move on, found these cute little shells. Found out that they're called micro mollusks, and there are actually little micro snails in these shells. Now, as we move on to the second one, I do want to say that Tulum sits on top of one of the largest underwater cave systems in the world with over 6,000 cenotes. Now, this right here is Cenote Corazon, and it was included in the excursion that we talked about for the lagoon. So this is an open air cenote, which is not in a cave, as you can see. But nevertheless, this one was also fun. I actually jumped off of that, which was cool. And our tour guide actually brought snacks for free that you can like take and eat. It was like fruits and chips and things like that. So I enjoyed that. For this particular cenote, it wasn't mandatory to wear a life vest, but I went ahead and wore it anyway. And for the next one, as you're going to see, it was mandatory to wear a life vest. Now for our third and final stop is Pet Cenote. So the reason for the name is actually because they found a lot of fossils here of animals, not because they came and sacrificed their animals. I do want to mention that there are bats, as you can see, but they didn't do anything. They're just there. After this, I went and got some tacos, and I was tired, so I honestly went to my room. Now, for the fourth day, I was going to Playa del Carmen, so I got on the auto bus, and I made my way over there, where I will check in to my next destination. Now, for the cost of 2 nights, this cost me $178.85, which is not bad at all for just 2 nights. This would easily go to like maybe 200 back in the US, so I am not complaining. The walk to this Airbnb from the auto station was about 20 minutes, but it wasn't that bad because it was on the strip, so the walk didn't feel like isolated or unsafe, and there's a lot of tourists in this area, which I didn't mind at all. So the Airbnb did have a pool, but I didn't use it, but you can. And then there wasn't much of a view, to be honest, so wouldn't come here for the view. One thing I did like about this Airbnb was the security. So there's a door that you need a code to get into the condominium, which I liked because it just added a layer of protection, in my opinion, which the one in Tulum didn't have. They had just a security guard in the front, which of course isn't that bad, but what's one extra layer of security, right? So after check-in, I went ahead and explored a little bit and ended up at the Chocolate Museum. Now, this little activity cost me about, I remember, maybe $15. It was cute, it was small, but I think my favorite part was that they gave free chocolate at the end. I did learn a lot on how it was a ceremony and how they would prepare it, and of course how the Europeans came and then started doing different things and bringing it back to their country and introducing it to everybody else. The following day, I went to Escaret, and they picked me up from a certain location that you pick. So I did include that in my package, and then I also included the pictures that they take, only because I was solo. So I was like, you know what, I want pictures, and I don't want them to be like selfie. On top of that, I also added the swimming with the sharks, which was nice. It was short, but definitely an experience that I won't ever forget. The shark felt kind of chunky, and I liked that. It felt like a little puppy to me. A water puppy. I know that sounds insane, but it's true. On top of all that, I did add the food, which I will mention that you can only pick one restaurant to go eat, which I didn't particularly like that as much because the buffet, either way, it was expensive to add that on. On top of the food add-on, I think the pickup, honestly, in my opinion, was a little late. They picked up like around 10, and they only had 2 options to leave the park, which was like around 4:30 or 9:30. To me, that was a problem because I take some medications for brain aneurysm that I had, and I forgot to bring my pills. So I was like, God damn it, I need to leave at 4:30. So I only had a few hours in the park to actually enjoy after I paid all that money. If you do come over here, what I do suggest is that you just stay at the Escaret Hotel. Like, I understand it's expensive, but it's all inclusive, so you get all the parks. And for this one, honestly, I believe it's more like culture wise, and it'll be like more for like families to come. So next time I come here, I will definitely bring my children and stay at the hotel so I could eat everywhere and we could just enjoy all the parks instead of just, spending all that extra money in that day. So the cost of this with everything included that I spoke about was $281.75. Definitely my most expensive little trip while being here. The following day, I made my way to the Frida Kahlo Museum. And although it was small, it did teach me a lot about her life and how she suffered and how her suffering actually made her become this big artist. And for me, I loved that aspect because I too feel like I've been through some traumatic experiences lately where it has forced me to become who I really am. And if you're lucky enough, you get to see the little movie that they had towards the beginning where they try to enact one of her craziest accidents that she had. I thought it was cute, and it just had a lot of symbolism in there, which I feel like she's a very symbolic person and she feels things deeply, and that's why she puts herself in those paintings to actually try to help others see the way that she feels because she can't really maybe verbalize it in a way. After the museum, I checked out of my hotel and went ahead into my second to last hotel, which was an Airbnb. And this was just for one night, and it cost me $121.80. Honestly, I just love tree houses, and I just wanted to experience something cool before I left, besides like a regular apartment or hotel. So I went ahead and booked this, and I don't regret it. Although it is really quiet, at night you will also hear the birds, and they like to get on the roof, so you would hear them do that. So do not be scared if you're alone like me and you're like, God damn, like, what is that on top of my roof? It's birds, relax. I also love the hammock. The hammock was the part that sold it to me. I was like, oh my God, I've never been on one of those. So I went ahead and booked the room when I saw that it was available, and I was like, oh my God, that is so cool. They also have other things that you can do inside this condominium. I didn't do it because I was honestly over it. So in total, I spent $2,247.27. So I did go over my budget by 247 cents, but hey, I'm in a touristy area. I should have known better. Either way, I was semi-close, so I'm proud of myself. I am going to use my Insta 360 for this, but I wanted to show you guys something that I've learned on TikTok. So if you go to your and you click here, right? It's basic, and then convert. And here we have clear 300. So $300 is 5,887.80 per pesos. I also want to show you guys something else. So when I arrived at Playa del Carmen, one of my Airbnb stays was about a 40-minute walk, and I did not feel like taking that. And usually the cars and taxis that are by the auto bus, they like to charge about 150 pesos to go somewhere, or way more than what the local taxi costs. So my host told me to download InDrive, and here, before you get in the taxi, you can bargain your deal. And when you bargain your deal, somebody will take it and be like, okay, yes, I accept, or yes, or no, I don't accept. And I did it twice. I was okay. I don't know about Tulum because I didn't use it in Tulum. I got a bike that was offered by the Airbnb. So that's how I got around over there. And the tours, I know that they included transportation.